Welcome back to MTG Card Collector. We're going to be doing a deck tech today, but not of the standard variety. Get it? And that's not standard? Haha. It's, I'm going to be doing a deck tech on my new deck, on my new commander deck. Here's my new commander. Muldrotha, the Gravetide. Awesome. 3 and 1 black, 1 blue, 1 green. During each of your turns, you may play up to a permanent card. Up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So I could play 1 artifact. I could play one artifact, 1 creature, 1 enchantment, 1 sorcery. I'm sorry, not sorcery. Creature, enchantment. Yeah, you get it. 1 permanent type. So real quickly, I like it because I get to go through. I'm going to be going through my graveyard, going through my library real fast, throwing things in my graveyard real fast, and casting a whole lot of things. Hopefully by turn 5, 6, 7, 8, I'll be dominating the board state, but we'll see what happens. I have not. I've only played this a couple of times with my oldest son. He's not a very big into Magic, but that's okay. As long as he's not drooling on the cards, we're fine. And it did very well against my other deck. I like this card, Yarina, the Leech Queen. I'll go into that deck into another day, but I'm still working on that one. This deck does not have some of the higher, what are they called? Expensive cards. In some cases, I refuse to put them in just because I don't want to be something to happen to my cards. I know me. I've spilt drinks on my own cards, and that would piss me off if I did it to, Force of Will, Liliana, The Last Hope, or Wastelands. Just to name 3 cards that are supposed to be in this deck, but because of the cost, I won't do it. Those 3 cards together are like $150, and I'm not gonna throw them in here just because of that. I am missing Alendra, or the Archmage. I will be buying it and putting it in here, but that's like a $25 card, and I'm not very happy about buying a $25 card. A lot of the cards I did put in, they're only they're only $1, $2, but some of them are a little bit more. Let's go over the land real quick, okay? So I got 2 forests, 2 islands, and 2 swamps. Basic lands. You can never have enough basic lands. Well, actually, you can. You're allowed to have as many as you want basic lands. You're only allowed to have 1 of every other type of card in the deck. You're allowed to have 99. I'm sorry, the commander deck is only allowed to have 100 cards. 1 of those is your commander. The other 99 are your regular playing deck. And then besides basic land, you're only allowed to have 1 of any 1 card. So you will not be seeing repeats after the basic lands. This deck probably could use just regular basic lands. Well, I shouldn't say just use basic lands, but a few more, maybe instead of 6, maybe having 12 in it. But I'm running like 36, 38 lands anyways. Opulence gets me 3 all 3 colors. Land of War Wastes gives me 1 black, 1 green, 1 colorless. Yavimaya Coast, 1 green, 1 blue, 1 colorless. Temple Mystery, 1 blue, 1 green. Hinterland Harbor, 1 blue, 1 green. Drowned Catacomb, 1 blue, 1 black. Fetid Pools. I love this one. It cycles. Gives you blue or black. Sunken Hollows is blue and black. Polluted Delta. Yep. Blue and black. Well, polluted Delta gets you a swamp or an island, which is great because you're able to find one of these too, because they come as an island or a swamp. There's other cards like that too. Swamp Forest. This is a overgrown tomb. Hissing Quagmire. Golgari Rot Farm. I like it because it gives you 1 green and 1 black. The one I'm missing is the Simic Growth Chamber. I'm going to be getting a play set of those. Just because I don't know why I don't have them. Anyways, Botanical Sanctum. Blooming Marsh. And then, of course, Bajuka Bog. You can't go wrong with Bajuka Bog, especially if you're playing a zombie deck or any deck that is actually letting your opponent go from the graveyard. Because, yes, going to your graveyard is exactly what I'm going to be doing. But you don't want your opponent to be doing it as much as they're going to be doing it, right? So, limit them. Desert of the Glorified, Desert of the Indomitable, Desert of the Mindful. Yes, I wanted some tap lands. Simple tap lands. I'm sorry, cycle lands. Simple cycle lands. Mossberg Bridge, Reliquary Tower, and then, of course, your Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds. I like these because when I really, really need a color fix, I'm able to find what I want to color fix. Buried Ruins, because I want to bring back an artifact. If I don't have him out in play or her out in play, I need to be able to get an artifact back sometimes. Spire of the Industries, because yeah, just a good card. For some reason, every black and green deck I ever build, I always put this one in. I've never used its green plant zombie creatures, but I've just always put it in there. Ghost Quarters, because sometimes you don't want your opponent to have that one isolated. Anyways, Ghost Quarters. Strip Mine. Can't go wrong with the Strip Mine. I mean, it's like a $25 card, but whatever. I mean, you're destroying one of their target lands. It's always a good thing. Mashira's Factory, because why would you not strip mine your opponent's Mashira's Factory, right? Or Westvale Abbey. Woo, Westvale Abbey. Now, I haven't been playing Commander for too long, so I don't know if I'm actually allowed to have this card in play, because my colors are blue, green, and black. But this one clearly states, pay 1 life, put a 1/1 white and a black human cleric creature token into the battlefield. It doesn't have the cost. It doesn't have the cost. There's no cost for it. So I don't know if I'm actually allowed to use this secondary part of the card. Honestly, I really don't know. I'm going to have to do some research into that, call some of my friends. I have it in there just because I want it, because the creature on the black is identified as black. So if it's black here, I know it's no self-identifier, but then again, I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to have that card in there, but I have it in there anyways until someone tells me I can't. Well, until I actually see the rule book ruling on it. All right, so let's get into the regular meat and potatoes of the deck. Got to have some planeswalkers. You always want a planeswalker. Why not, right? And even if you discard one planeswalker, you get to bring it back. Yes, because it's a permanent. So I got Vraska, Golgari Queen in here. I got Vivian Reed. I got Soren Morkov. And I got Liliana Vess. The Last Hope is a better card. By far a better card, but it's so much more expensive. And I just can't put myself, I got one copy of it, can't put myself to putting it in there. So anyways, cool thing about this one, I love this -2 ability. Search your library for a card, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. Okay, well, why would you not put one of these two? And this one's awesome because, you know, yeah, okay, you can use that first one, but as soon as I put him into play, I'm using his -3 ability, and one of my opponents is becoming a life total of 10. So there you go. I'm using Lillian to bring Soren Markov in. If I really need to get rid of a creature, I mean, I can with hers, but Soren Markov, -3, or -3 second ability, target opponent's life total becomes 10. That's just awesome. Especially in Commander. All right. Next, because your life total is 40. 40! Next. Sidisi, the Brood Tyrant. Of course you have to have her in here. You have to. Whenever she comes in, you get to put 3 cards in your graveyard. There you go, burning through your library. And whenever one or more creature cards comes into your graveyard from your library, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token on the battlefield. You're burning through your library. When it attacks, you put 3. When it enters, you put 3. So there's 6. With chances of getting at least two creatures into the graveyard. Hey, that's great. You're putting 2 creatures in the graveyard, you're getting zombies. And if you have her in play, guess what? You can cast those creatures you just put into the graveyard. So no harm, no foul. Grittog Monster. Seems like a bad idea, but you're able to burn through your lands. Discard a land. Okay, I'm going to discard a land. And then with Sidisi, with Muldrotha, I'm able to cast it again. So at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Grittog Monster unless you sacrifice a land. Okay. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. So if you draw a card and you have a land in play, you can use Muldrotha to cast a land, and then you can cast a secondary land. Whenever one or more lands put into the graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. So that's always cool. You're getting to draw twice every turn. Then, of course, if you're lucky enough to get the Tatiova, Bethnic Druid into play, whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So every time you put a card in. And with this one, you're getting 2 life and 2 cards. So yeah, it's just good. Just a good combo. Coiling Oracle. I was actually surprised. I never played this card. I've never played this card. And when I sat down and was looking at the list and I saw this and I read through it, I was like, wow. So for 1 blue, 1 green, when Coiling Oracle enters the battlefield, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it in the battlefield, otherwise put it into your hand. I thought it was, I was just like, wow, it's actually, you're getting to put another land into play. So if things go well, you can be putting 3 or 4 lands into play. So I was pretty impressed with that. Sultai the Soothsayer. This one's not called for on their list that I read, but I thought it was just really cool. When Sultai Soothsayer enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest into your library. So I'm putting 1 into my hand, that's fine. And then the rest going to my library. I'm gonna bring it back. So I mean, it's not really that bad. The only downside is what are they called? Spells and sorcery, or instants and sorceries. Sometimes you're not going to be able to cast from your graveyard. But that's kind of not. That's really not what this deck was meant for. This deck was not really meant to be. Cheers. Casting too many instants and sorceries. You just kind of want to overpower them. Dig through your cards, go through your graveyard, and just destroy. All right. So creatures. Now creatures, I have these going from rare to common, and they're just for simple reasons. World Shaper. I love the World Shaper dies. Put all cards from all land cards from your graveyard into the battlefield tapped. Cost 4. So if you get this mid game, you're able to get every land back into the battlefield that you just milled through yourself. You're bringing all the land back. So that's just awesome. Tireless Tracker, because every time a land comes into play, you get a clue token. And with these clue tokens, you get to crack and draw another card. And of course, he gets bigger, but I mean, that's secondary. Honestly, that's secondary. He's going to get a 1+1/+1 counter on it, but I want the clues, because even if I lose him, I still have the clues. So Doom Whisperer. Yep, got to have Doom Whisperer. Doom Whisperer actually killed me last turn, or last game. I kept surveilling two, because I wanted cards in my graveyard, and then my opponent swung in for 36 points, and I only had 34 life, and I couldn't stop it. So, well, I actually had 24 life. Yeah, it was 26 and 24. He attacked for 26 points, and I had 24 life, so I wasn't able to stop it. But I got to fill up my graveyard, which is exactly what I want to do. Next time, I just got to be a little bit smarter about not doing it as much. So DC, Undead Vizier. 3 and 2 black. This is one of my favorite cards. It is a $10 zombie card. It's got Death Touch and Exploit. When CDC the Vizier, the Undead Vizier, exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. I like that, because I'm going to find a card that I need right now. And maybe it's something that I need to build up my board state. Maybe it's something I need to destroy my opponent's board state. So, Anoop Excavator for 3. You get to play land cards from your graveyard. So when you're on turn 6 and you don't have enough land, you're able to, if somebody is, trying to think of the word. If you're milling yourself, you're able to grab land. So even if you don't have a land, you want them every turn be putting land in play. So this just helps you out. Wayward Swordtooth, because for 3 you get a 5/5. If you have Ascend, which you're going to pretty quick, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. This helps you get more lands in play. So if you have one of these with this, you're able to get, let's say you draw a card. So you draw a card, and that card is a land, and you have Muldrotha in play. Okay, you can put your land in play because you're able to play a land from your graveyard. Okay, or you could put a secondary card in play. You're now able to pull it from your graveyard, and this lets you pull it from your graveyard. Both of them let you pull it from your graveyard. So there's ways of doubling up, tripling up, getting 2, 3, 4 lands per turn. Pull like a worm. Notice the symbol? Yeah, it's not supposed to be rare. It's supposed to be uncommon because it's not that good. But it's a big, beefy chunk of something that your opponent has to stop. 7/7, trample, you gain 7 life, you get to draw a card when it leaves. But yeah, it's a big, ugly worm that one of your opponents have to kill. Reclamation Sage, because you don't want your opponents to have artifacts or enchantments. Or at least specific ones. Plague Crafter. Why wouldn't you? For 3, you get to kill one of their creatures, you get to kill one of your creatures. And you want cards in your graveyard anyway. So literally, like the last game, I was like, okay, Plague Crafter. Oh, I'm going to sacrifice it. And with Muldrotha, I'm going to bring it back. And I'm going to cast it. And then it's going to go back. And I'm going to cast it again the next turn. Yeah, that's what I did like 3 times. Fleshbag Marauder. Another way of killing a creature your opponent controls. Supplier Stench. Way of getting cards into your graveyard. At least 6. Ravenous Chupacabra, because you want to kill your opponent's creatures. Are you catching the drift? But you're also, every time it goes, when one of your creatures goes into the graveyard, you're able to bring it back. Acidic Slime. Death Touch. Destroy a target artifact, enchantment, or land. Shriek Maw. Has fear. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. It has Evoke. Never used its Evoke, but I guess it could. Eternal Witness. So you're able to bring back another card. If you really need that instant in your hand or that sorcery in your hand to cast a spell or to defend yourself. There you go, Eternal Witness. Siren Storm Tamer. Way of protecting you or a creature you control for cheap. Archaeomancer. Enters the battlefield, return target instant sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So if you've milled, that cancel, then you're able to bring that cancel back to your hand. Caustic Caterpillar. Caustic Caterpillar. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's cheap as hell, so why not? Satyr Wayfinder. Able to find a basic land. Hopefully. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put a land card. Sorry, not a basic land. Put a land card from among them onto your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. So hopefully within the 4 there is a land. So, Muldrotha. When it comes into play, draw 2 cards. Also has Evoke. I've never played it for its Evoke cost, but I guess I could. Only costs 3 for Evoke. That's not bad. I mean, sacrifice it when it comes into play, but whatever. Viscera Seer, sacrifice creature, scry 1. And back to World Shaper, yep. Alright, so onto this pile. So those are the creatures that I have in my deck. There are some creatures that I wish I had. I wish I had them so I can put them into it. A good example of that would be like the Nyx Weaver, Marin of the clan Nelloth. That's a great card. Golgari Grave Troll. The Den Protector, I mean, that's cheap. I'm probably going to buy one. Glen Alenda Archmage, $25. I'm going to buy one anyways, but not today. Spore Frog is a great card to put in there. Sakura Tribe Elder, great card to put in there. Underrealm Leech, I need one, so I'll probably, if I get one, I'll put it in there. On to artifacts, which are also some creatures too. Solemn Siliculum, great way to get a land card. Also a great way to draw a card. Noxus Gearhulk, because you want to be able to get rid of their creatures and get some life. Walking Ballista, because why wouldn't you put this in? That doesn't make any sense why this would not be in every commander deck from here to eternity. Last but not least, the Big Mama Jamba, the card that hopefully is going to settle everything out there. Emrakul, the Promised Land. I know, I was showing artifacts, but actually I called it, in my mind, it was the colorless creatures. Emrakul, Promised End, because if you're going to have a card that is going to just destroy your enemies, this is one way of doing it. Now, I'm going to have that one face up for a second here. is we're going to go into this pile here. This pile here is, of course, spells. Where's my other pile? I messed that one up. There it is. That's not supposed to be there. So we'll go into that one next. All right, so for artifacts, I got mana rocks. Okay, Golgari Signet, Dimir Signet, Simic Signet. You want to be able to get land or mana out fast, and these are some great ways of doing it. Soul Side Banner. This one's kind of it's 3. He gets 1 of whatever, but she also gets to draw a card. So later on, it does pay. It's not a bad mana rock. Chromatic Lantern. Turn every card that you have an ability to draw or give you land. Even, where'd it go? For you new players out there, cards like this, Spire of Industry, where normally it would say pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, activate this ability only if you control an artifact. By having Chromatic Lantern in play, you get a 3rd ability that would say tap to add 1 mana of any color. But that mana of any color is going to be one of your 3. One of your 3 that you play. So, but it's nice because even cards like this, it gets an ability. Just imagine writing in right up top there. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So it would be right up there. Okay, so even if you have this in play, if you have this in play already, you don't have to sacrifice this. This now becomes your island, becomes your forest, becomes your swamp. So that's really kind of cool. Oops. Where's this? What did I do with it? Oh, it's right there. Okay. And put these back so I don't lose my own mind. Soul Ring, because why wouldn't you? And I was watching that Command Zone when they were talking about, is Soul Ring too powerful for Commander? And the stats and how people weren't using this correctly. And that's what I kind of chalk it up to. I watched a couple of guys use Soul Ring on turn 1. It didn't do anything for them because every card in their hand was, 4 or more. And the best one I've ever seen was, turn 1, they tapped this. I'm sorry, they put this in play. They tapped it. They cast another card. They basically, I don't remember how they did it, but they basically kept building up. They emptied their hand out. They kept building up. And turn 1, it was like he had 7 cards in play or 6 cards in play. It was actually pretty impressive. So, Soul Ring. Gilded Lotus. This one I believe in. I mean, I know it costs 5. It's kind of hefty, but you get 3 of any one color. So, that's really kind of kick-ass rock. And then, of course, Ashnod's Altar, because sacrificing sometimes is a better way of getting colorless mana when you absolutely need it. And yeah, you can tell mine's from Chronicles. Yeah. Well, it's from Chronicles. It's a white border. It's originally from Antiquities. But Chronicles, the white border, they just left the Antiquity sign in there. So mine's from Chronicles. I didn't want to use one of my new ones. All right, so let's go into instants. I have a negate. I put in a couple of them that weren't on the list, and negate was one of them that wasn't on the list. But you know what? Sometimes you don't want your opponent to use a Cyclonic Rift. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes that Cyclonic Rift is just mean. Beast Within. Destroy target permanent. Its controller puts a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. This is always nice for one of those creature spells, enchantments, or whatever that is just getting to you. Sometimes you got to destroy it. There's not too many green destroys, but hey. Fact or Fiction, and I'll tell you what, a 3/3 green beast is a whole lot easier to get rid of than an enchantment some days. Fact or Fiction, awesome card. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. The opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other pile into the graveyard. Depending on what my board state is, I could most of the time don't care what cards are going in the graveyard. If I got Muldrotha, the ability to use her, I'm pulling them out anyway. So, Fact or Fiction, awesome card. Brainstorm, because I want to be able to draw cards. Counterspell and Brainstorm. Instant. It's from Ice Age. Instant. Draw 3 cards, then take 2 cards from your hand and put them on top of your library in any order. This is a great way of stacking the deck instantly on the end of your opponent's turn. Counterspell. I can't think of a reason why I wouldn't want at least 1 counterspell in my hand. Grasp of Darkness. This is a great instant. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. So even if it's a, what do they call that? I can't think of it. Anyways, yeah, great way to kill creatures. Supreme Will, another counterspell. Costs you 3. They have to pay more 3, or pay 3 more. Or you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library and put one of them into your hand, the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. So great way of, getting a look at your deck, going through it pretty quick. So we've gone through all the top rows. Let's go through the rest of the bottom rows. All right. Sorceries. Sylvan's Scrying. Splendid Reclamation. Seasons Past. First 2 are for getting lands in play pretty quick. Wanting more lands. The more lands, the better. Seasons Past. Be able to go through your library and you can return any number of cards with different converted mana costs from your graveyard to your hand. Put Seasons Past in the bottom of the owner's library. It does not say permanents. It does not say instants. It doesn't say a specific type of card. So you can theoretically pull, if you have one of every type of mana cost from 1 to 8 or 1 to 9, 1 to 13, you can pull them all. If they killed Emrakul, you can get it back. So, Ponder. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library. You may shuffle your library. Ponder is a great card. They added that in there because the other blue card. My brain, I'm starting to go to sleep. I'm so tired. Brainstorm doesn't say that. You may shuffle your library. And a lot of places were saying that's too powerful, it's too strong. So they came out with Ponder to try to slow it down. They turned it into a sorcery. They said, you may shuffle your library. If you find 3 cards that you don't like, you can shuffle your library and then draw a card. You're still stacking your deck. Literally still stacking your deck. Cultivate, because you want more lands. More lands. More lands. Traverse the Uvenwald. More lands. And in this case, if you have Delirium, you can get a creature instead. Isn't that nice? And then, of course, Dismember. I find this card to be one of my favorite cards. Dismember, the Phyrexia pain symbols. Phyrexian life symbols. You don't have to pay with black. You can actually take 2 life, which is great, and give a creature -5/-5 until end of turn. That's awesome. Awesome. And we'll just stack them on top. Okay. Enchantments. I don't have too many enchantments in this deck. I was pretty impressed with the setup. There's a couple of them that I want to get. For instance, Phyrexian Light, Scriptures and Secrets of the Dead and Lilting Refrain. I'd add those in this easily. Animate Dead. Great card. You can get back any card. Evolutionary Leap. I evolutionary leaped myself into a Land of War Elves with this card. So from now on, what I do, if I can, I ponder or brainstorm myself to make sure that I don't do that. So I literally revolutionary leaped from, I don't remember what it was, but let's say it was a bear into a Land of War Elves. I was like, are you kidding me? That sucked. And then, of course, Vessel of Necessa. I can't pronounce that. Forget it. You can pull it back. You may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, a land, or a planeswalker card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest onto your graveyard. This is a great way of pulling a card from the top 4 and not have, I think you have to reveal it. Yeah, you have to reveal it. But you get to find a card that you want and put it in your hand in the top 4. So you're able to get ahead. So it's not bad. You can sacrifice this, pay the 2 sacrifices on your opponent's turn and get a card. Then, of course, Journey into Eternity, which is a great way. You get this enchantment back. It flips it into a land. It brings back your card, whatever you put it on. So, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and then, of course, pay 5. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. One of the games I played, my Muldrotha was exiled. and I was pretty impressed with how they were able to do that. So this card let me bring back a card from the graveyard back onto the battlefield, and I was just pulling cards from the battlefield. I'm sorry, from the graveyard, and putting him on the battlefield, and just overpowered him eventually over time. But all right, last but not least, Helm of the Host. These are regular artifacts. Helm of the Host, Executioner's Capsule, Skull Clamp, and of course Swift Foot Boots. This is a great card. It gives one of your creatures haste. Skull Clamp, you're able to, when a creature goes into the graveyard, able to draw 2 cards. It does hurt your own creature. This deck does not build too many creatures that are 1/1s. There's only like 2 or 3, I think, in there. So it's not going to kill them instantly. Well, it kill those instantly. It won't kill any of your other cards instantly. But, and I know that's what a lot of people do, but I just put it on a card that I'm willing to lose this turn, or even destroy myself. Because why not destroy yourself? Now, the last game I played, I literally was able to, where did he go? There he goes. I got Emrakul into play. And then I got Emrakul into play 2 or 3 turns before I had Helm of the Host. And to finish the game, I put Helm of the Host on Emrakul. And yeah, it just overly just destroyed everybody. It was an awesome meme. It was a great way of doing it. So this deck has a few ways of killing people, killing everything. You just have to be willing to go through literally go through your library. You've got to be willing to go down to the last 10 cards. If you're not willing to go to the last 10 cards, then you know you deserve to lose, because this deck requires you to sacrifice, and by sacrifice I mean you're going to go through your cards, and you're going to go down in life. So you better be willing to do it. Otherwise, pick a different commander. Okay, so this one went on forever. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell for notifications when I upload a new video. This is the longest video I've done. I probably won't do another commander deck for a long time, because that is long. Hit the thumbs up button. It looks like that. If you have any comments, please leave a comment down below. And thank you for watching.